Hello guys, I am Ashutosh Kumar from ZEROONE. Let us proceed on our next video tutorial of C programming. So today we will discuss flowchart, decision control, and under decision control statements we will see if-else-if-else statements and nested if-else. In next video tutorial we will see about the switch and go to statements. So let us start with flowchart. Okay, first of all we want to know what a flowchart is. Okay, so let me write a simple program first. You assume that I have written that header file has include stdio.s. I have not written it in order to save the time. See, this is a program that will print hello and then hi. So what happened? Flowchart tells you the order of execution of a program or the control of statements. Okay, so when this program will be executed, first hello will be printed and then hi. What happens is, in this function this statement is executed first and then this statement is executed. Normally the execution of statements in a normal C program will go from top to down. Okay, we can alter the flow program using some control statements. We will see how we will be altering this control statement and we will alter this to achieve some goal. Okay, in solving some problems we need to alter the program and we will see why with this and how we will do this. Okay, so basically the flow chart will tell you the execution of program. Now let us see few terminologies related to flowchart. So this ellipse means start. Okay, and this rectangle tilted one will denote about statements. Okay, and again this is about decision. We will see how we will be using this, but before that just know what are the terminologies. Okay, and again when we end we use the same ellipse. Okay, so these are only the four basics that we will be using. We do not go into the depth of flowchart. Okay, so these four we will be using. Now if you remember the previous program that I wrote, in that program I printed hello and hi. So what will be the flowchart? See, we have started the program, so we'll write start, and then we have only printed statements. So we have statements execution, that is statement 1, and again a statement is executed, and then we come to the end of our program. Okay, so this is a very simplest flowchart that I have shown you. Now let us see how we design flowcharts in decision control statements, and we will learn decision control statements first. So what happens in decision control is that we check certain condition. If certain condition is true, then only statement is executed, and if the condition is false, the statement is not executed. So let us take the example of if-else statement. So I am writing you the construct of if-else statement. So this is the construct. If condition So this is the basic construct of if else statement. See, here will be condition, there will be some condition checking. We will see from example how we are checking the condition, but for now assume there are some conditions. If this condition is true, then only this if block statement will be executed. Okay, this is statement 1, statement 2. If this condition become false, then this if block statements will not be executed, then the else part will be executed, the else block will be executed, the statements under the else block will be executed. Okay, and one more important point to notice is that whenever we are using only one statement, then we need not provide this braces. Okay, but see, if I write like this, if condition, and we do not put a curly braces here, we are not opening a braces, and there is only one statement, statement 1, it is well and good. Okay, and then again we can write else and statement 1 dash, it is also good. Okay, but if there are supposed to be more than one statements, then we have to enclose those in curly braces as shown here. Okay, so now let us move to some practical example of if else statements. Now suppose in a school you are going to give a test. Okay, and the full marks is 10. Okay, pass mark is 5. Oh, a student or a guy who score more than 5 or 5 is going to pass the examination, else he is going to fail. So how we are going to decide this? See, I am writing a program. Okay, you just assume that I have written the header file, void main, I have declared a variable int n, and then I will read the input scanf. It is a integer type of data, so we are using format specifier %d, comma %n. Okay, now we have read the input. So what we will do, we will check a statement. See, here we are checking if n is greater than equal to 5. So if n is greater than equal to 5, then what? Printf pass, else printf fail. So see, this is the condition checker. Okay, see, condition is being checked. Okay, and keep in mind that we are not going to give any semicolon at the end of this if. Okay, if we are going to give a semicolon at the end of this if, then we will not get the correct output. I will tell you about what happens when we give a semicolon at the end of if. For now, you do not have to give any semicolon if you want a normal execution program to be correct. Okay, so we are not going to give a semicolon, just remember here. But if you give a semicolon, there will be no compile error. Okay, we will discuss these things now. So this was a simple construct, and one more important point is that, see, here I have used only one statement. See, so we are not putting any braces here also, but it is always recommended to apply curly braces on if and else blocks. Okay, else you might miss somewhere. So a good programmer always apply curly braces. Okay, again I am telling you, if there is only one statement, then you need not apply curly braces, but if there are more than one statements, then you have to apply curly braces here. See, like this, if there were more than 2 statements, then we would have applied. And if there is only one statement, applying is also good, not applying is also good, but it is always recommended to apply the curly braces. Okay, so this was about the if else. Now let us talk about if else. So suppose full marks is 20. Okay, outstanding, a student is outstanding if he scores more than 15. Okay, a student is good if he scores more than 10. A student is bad if he is lower than 10. Okay, lower than 10. So how we write this program? See, again we write void main. I take input in 10, scanner, okay, and we will be using this statement. See how I am using. If n is greater than 15, if n is greater than 15, then we print outstanding. Okay. Else if, again there is a if statement, else if. So we have to put a condition. What is the condition? N is greater than 10. Then printf good. See, I am using \n so that our output is shown to the new line. Else, what will be printed? See, so can you realize what happened if a student's mark is 17? So 17 is greater than 15. This block will be checked. Yes, 17 is greater than 15. This will be executed. And now if this condition is true, the later parts of if-else statements will not be executed. See, 17. Now what happened if the mark is 12? So marks is 12. Now see, 12 is greater than 15. No, false. So 12 is greater than 10. Yes, it is true. So this will be executed and this part will not be executed. What happens if the mark is 8? If the marks is 8, this is false, this is false. So if both are false, what will be executed? The else statement. So this was the construct of if-else if statements. We can put as many else if as we want and as the program requires. So again we can put a else if here. Again we can put an else if here and a else. And one more important point to note is that suppose if I write if statement inside main, okay, and we have some if statement, condition, okay, we wrote some statement and we do not provide any else statement. It is well and good. Okay, it is well and good. Why? Program will come, certain condition will be checked. If the condition is true, this statement will be executed. If the condition is false, this statement is not going to execute and there is no else part, so nothing will be executed at the end. Okay, so you will get a blank screen. Again we can leave this else. If we leave this else part, what will happen? If the score is less than 10, nothing will be printed. So this way the flow works. You can skip that else. Okay, but you cannot have a else without if. Suppose if we do not write if and directly we write else and statement, so this is wrong, this is completely wrong, this is senseless, this is completely meaningless. We cannot write this. So this was about if-else statement. Now let us switch to nested if-else. Okay, so let me write a program. What basically nested if-else means is that if-else statement under a if-else statement. See how it is done. Okay, I've opened the braces. Okay, whenever I open a braces of main function, it should always be closed. If somewhere in the program I miss that, you just do for me. Okay, sorry, int n, and suppose n is equal to 10. To remind you, it is a data type, it is an integer type of data. This is declaration and this is assignment. And then we write if n is greater than 5. Okay, and then I open a braces for if. Okay, and again I write if n is greater than 7. and then I again open a braces, and then I printf super great. Okay, and then I close the braces. Else, open the braces, printf great, and then close the braces, and again then close the braces, and again we can write else printf small. We have done, and I'm closing this main statement, main function, sorry. So see, main function, declaration, assignment, we have checked the condition, n is greater than 5. Oh, yes, 10 is greater than 5. And what will happen? It will go under this if block. Okay, so this is this one. See, this one is the scope of this if, and this one is the scope of this if, and this one is the scope of this else, and this is the scope of this one else. Okay, so 10 is greater than 5. Yes, it is true. So this else will not be executed. Okay, and I've used here only a single statement, so I haven't used this curly braces, and I had no space also. So now if n is 10, again 10 is greater than 7. Yes, 10 is greater than 7. So what will happen? This block will be executed, so super great will be printed on the screen, and this will become false. I mean that this will not be executed. Okay, because this condition is true, this else will not be executed. And this way, see, there is a if else statement under a if statement. So this is known as the nested if else, and you can design as possible, you know, you can complicate it more in any other way, and as the programming requires, we have to use if else, if else if statements and nested if else. Okay, so this was about if else statements. We will discuss switch and go to in our next video tutorial. Okay, and now when we know this decision controller statement, we can draw flow chart for this. See how we draw the flow chart. Flow chart for decision control. Okay, so we start the program, then maybe there are certain statements to execute. Statement 1 say, there can be more than one, I'm just simplifying it. Okay, and then what can happen? There will be decision statement. That if is a decision statement, you know, we are checking the condition, if condition, so there the decision is made. So this is decision. Okay, what is the output? Suppose it is true and suppose it is false. So if it is true, some statement will be executed, say statement 2, and if it is false, some statement can execute. Then what will happen? Statement is executed, it will come to the end of the program. So see, this is a simple decision control flow chart. We have started the program, a statement will be executed, decision will be made. If decision is true, statement 2 will be executed. If decision is false, statement 3 will be executed, and finally we come to the end of the program. Okay, so and we can have, you know, we can have a decision going to another decision, and that decision may go to another decision. So this whole flowchart can be a bit more complicated also. So this way we draw the flowchart. This is the basics how we do. We design in the mind how our program is going to be executed, you know, and then we decide the flowchart, and accordingly the program is executed. So this is all about flowchart. In next video lesson, we will see about switch and go to statements, and also we will see what will happen if we put a semicolon at the end of this if. Okay, so generally we are not doing this, but this is not a compile error. Okay, this is not a compile error. Okay, so what is difference between compile error and logical error? You know, compile error is something when you deviate from the syntax of the program, okay, or when such type of syntax or such type of statements are not allowed, you know, then compiler throws a error. Such type of error will be known as compile error. Okay, and logical error will be, you know, compile error is easy to detect. You know why? Because compiler error, when we get a compiler error, you know, the compiler shows us at which line number where we are missing the, you know, syntax. Okay, but when there is a logical error, logical error is very difficult to detect. Logical error can be like, suppose if you had to add a equal to a plus 5 and you did it by mistake 6, okay, so your program output will deviate. So this was about logical error. So if you put a semicolon, it is a, in a way, logical error. Okay, your programming output will deviate. We will see next video lesson what happens, what are the effects if we put a semicolon. Okay, so for today this was enough. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed learning. Please like and subscribe our channel.